Hey YouTube, Vinyl community, it's LJ and I'm here to do a thread response to Jeff, Glowing00Cabbage's thread, where he kind of challenged people in the vinyl community to take a step out of the box, out of the comfort level, invest a buck or a couple of bucks and try a new or different genre from something that you might normally listen to. And I thought this was just so cool because of all the recommendations we get from each other here in the vinyl community. Try this, try that. Hey, I listened to this, blew my freaking mind. And so there's a lot of that kind of challenge here in the VC, and I've definitely invested in some records that have just turned out to be boners. You know what I mean? Just hated it. What the hell was I thinking? Why did Derek, Jonas, Jeff, Mark love that so much? And hey, it's just not for me, so I'll usually just throw it in a box and flip it in that direction. Here you go. But in this case, one thing struck me as new this year that I loved. Anyone that watches my videos knows that I'm a huge fan, most primarily of heavy metal, rock, 70s, 80s rock. Things like The Who, Black Sabbath, Abattoir. Second to that is generally jazz fusion. Love jazz fusion. It's all jazz fusion down here. R&B is also another huge passion and love. One music I've always despised, just absolutely despised, it just always sent me the wrong way. Ugh. Country. Couldn't stand country. Couldn't stand it. I probably have 4 pure country records. Johnny Cash, Live at San Quentin, Folsom Prison, Waylon Jennings live. Very, very limited, and they rarely get played. I probably shouldn't even own them. And then I stumbled entirely accidentally via YouTube on the Marshall Tucker Band's debut LP, Country Rock. Country Rock? Really? So, falling in love with it on YouTube, immediately hearing the Allman Brothers meets Jethro Tull with the flute. It's in the background if you can hear it. I couldn't even wait to find this in a record store. I just ordered it on eBay and digitized it, or just downloaded it from iTunes. I must have listened to this. I had to mow the lawn, and it takes a couple hours. This album played 3-4 times. I just completely lost track, and it completely immersed me in country rock. And I know some people have picked up on that from the albums I've been showing. Hey, I bought this. Punk Texas was great at that. He kind of said, lots of country rock for you these days. And then he put a couple country rock songs as backing music in his videos, which is a little homage, and I thought that was cool. So Punk, thank you. But this was the album that started it all, the Marshall Tucker Band. If you can hear it in the background, this is, I've described it before. I've been trying to get Sublime Media, Jonas, into this by telling him, I know you dig the Allman Brothers. If Jethro Tull jammed with the Allman Brothers, this would be their love child. And this is just, I mean, friggin' awesome, just awesome, and that's the best way I can describe it, is what I said. So this is the Marshall Tucker Band's debut LP, an absolute monster of a record. So much soul, passion, music, and they had something to say. Just the different songs. This is utterly amazing. I can't believe I slept on this just all my life. But being 35, born in 76, country rock, I guess, was still riding a pretty big wave at that point, but not that I knew. I mean, come on, I wouldn't cut my real musical influence and taste until the mid-80s, right? And then late 90s, early 90s, when at that point, it had pretty much all but gone. So now I have to circle backwards. But man, what a journey. So the Marshall Tucker Band, this debut LP is now one of my desert island records, and it's taken me in a few different directions. Now, Southern rock, I mean, your Lynyrd Skynyrd's, your stuff like that, Blackfoot, I've always loved that and known that, but this is just a little different. This is country rock. So not country, right? I mean, you know, the old joke, if you play a country song backwards, you get your life back because you lost everything. Not that shit. And I mean, you know what, if people like that, I'm cool with that, but everyone's got their own opinion, and I'm just going to be open about it. I don't dig country music at all, I still don't. But, here's some of the other places it took me. I'm going to grab the camera, hang on. Okay, so I'm going to take a walk over to the shelf. So if you dig that, let's take this in a little bit of a different direction. maybe you'll also dig, I pulled some stuff. So that Marshall Tucker LP, how infectious can this get? Well, that took me to New Riders of the Purple Sage, which some folks from the Grateful Dead, Jerry Garcia, had participated in, and others, kind of an incestuous little genre. So you have the Adventures of Panama Red, Home Home on the Road. So obviously once I heard this, I dug it. This one's amazing, Gypsy Cowboy. And for anyone that's followed my videos since the beginning, you'll note I found this far earlier this year, gave it a spin, and hated it. And I posted a video that said, if anyone wants it, you can have it. I take it back. You can't have it. And that took me to, no, not Randy Newman. That took me to other things that I'm just starting to get my hands around. More country rock. The Outlaws, a little Rattlesnake, and I have a huge snake fetish. I hate snakes. Lady in Waiting. Right, so I pulled that. Pulled a couple other things too. So just to show you when you do step out of that box, if we do it this way. So here's some more Marshall Tucker stuff, right? So we have Marshall Tucker, and this later stuff, later 70s, they're starting to get a little commercial, but not the early stuff, and sorry if the lighting sucks. No, Marshall Tucker, Carolina Dreams was a very popular album. Greatest Hits, and still this earlier stuff, these first few LPs for me are just where it's really at. And then Marshall Tucker. So I think all in all I've ended up picking up about a dozen of their albums. And a little more camera movement, just kind of adjust here. And if we go over here, move behind the cult, and these albums I put out in front, I get a lot of questions about that. It's just whatever I feel like looking at. It's kind of like artwork. So Marshall Tucker took me to Poco, right? Poco is picking up the pieces. So this is out of the ashes of Buffalo Springfield comes Poco with Richie Furay and company. So this is Poco's first LP, and Poco from the inside. This is a killer country rock album. I love this album. And you get the idea. On and On, Deliverance. This is another one I offered to give away when I found it by accident, and now changed my mind. Poco, Crazy Eyes, another great kind of psychedelic country rock album. It's crazy. Check it out. Check that one out. Poco 7. What's this? Cantamos, another great LP. Head Over Heels. I mean, Poco just picking up steam, just some great stuff. Poco Live, Poco Indian Summer, and none of this stuff is difficult or expensive. Difficult to find or expensive. So I mean, if once you get that, it was kind of great. I got bit by that bug, and you know, it was just easy to find this stuff. Ghost Town, this is a kick-ass LP, loved it. That's Robert Plant. So you get the idea, right? And I think even further down here, my camera's going to behave, is the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, some more country rock. There's another Marshall Tucker LP. These ones down here are ones that I am just starting to get into and listen to. So they're not part of the bigger collection yet. Charlie Daniels Band. And I've shown a lot of these in recent Find videos. But, again, kind of just, this is how something can just get in there and kind of bite you and start going. So that was me stepping out of my comfort zone with the Marshall Tucker Band's debut LP. One, I have to admit that I'm still eagerly looking for, and I'm going to ask right now if anyone in the DC has an extra copy they want to get rid of, is The Byrds' Sweetheart of the Rodeo. The Byrds' take on country rock. I bought it in iTunes, downloaded it, and I've listened to it over and over. So anybody out there that does have and wants to part with a copy of The Byrds' Sweetheart of the Rodeo before I go buy a copy on eBay, let me know. Shoot me a PM, send me a note. Love to have a copy, love to buy, trade, whatever. Just really eagerly looking for a copy of that record. Jeff, that was me, LJ, jumping out of the box. I hope everyone enjoyed it and maybe learned a little something. Please do yourself a favor, and if you haven't, check out the Marshall Tucker Band's debut LP. You can't go wrong. It's fucking awesome. Alright, everyone out there in the VC, take care. Looking forward to everyone else's response. Talk to you soon. Ciao.